And welcome to this episode of the Total Podcast with me, your host, Phil Scott. So, on this episode of the Total Podcast, I have a very special guest. Her name is Lydia Kennedy, and her kids have written an amazing book. So, I'm just excited to have my listeners hear about how everything evolved and took place and how it was written. So, without further ado, here we go. So, Lydia, thank you so very much for doing the show today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Phil.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You're
Thank you.
very welcome. I'm glad you could do it. And we have like a big, huge 3 hour time difference too. So thank you for doing it this late for your time zone.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I'm actually a night bird, so this is fine. Or night owl, I should
Oh,
say.
that's terrific. All right. So Lydia, first
Yeah.
off, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, and a little bit about your kids, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, my background actually started a very long time ago. I've been in the performing arts all my life. I was a professional ballet dancer, and then from there, I had a knee injury, so I changed my career around and went into television and radio broadcasting.
Hmm.
And with that, my journey has kind of evolved. And then I took a break when I had my family. And being a mom was my number one thing, and the hours and everything in that industry is very different. So I wanted to have a little bit of a different schedule. So as my life as a mom evolved, I had started all these great adventures with my children. And as every parent, we always have these situations that arise or different things that we encounter with our children. And as my children have grown, they've kind of taken after me in our storytelling. And in the storytelling journey, it started off with my two girls, and it was two Georgia peaches when we moved to Georgia. And we started off with these books that we were starting to write, adventures we were starting to do, and videos we were starting to do.
Hmm.
And I started homeschooling them. And then from homeschooling, they went back into, a normal school. And then I started homeschooling them again. And when we started homeschooling them, we had even more adventures to add on from our school journey. So I used to take about 6 hours in the car to go back and forth to different activities in schools. And in our adventures, which is what led to our first book, we took our real life adventures, like this messy car ride that we have here in the back, and our food getting lost in the car, our toys getting lost in the car, and all of those things that happen in your life as a mother and as a child. And we created these stories. My oldest one loves to storytell, and she loves to rhyme. So with that, she started to come up with, "Well, Mom, we get everything lost." And then my husband started to chime in, and everyone. So it was a very big family adventure in these car rides that we would come up with all these different scenarios and adventures that we would go on. And from there, we decided that we wanted to make this something that we could bring everyone into. And I come from a human interest story background. So I used to do human interest stories, and I used to get into sports reporting a long time ago. And I would focus on telling the stories of student athletes and their lives behind the scenes. And with their life behind the scenes, a lot of these children, they came from hard lives or hard situations, and they really worked hard to get to where they ended up in life. Some of them became professional athletes, some of them became sports reporters. A lot of these children have these histories and these stories that needed to be told. So with that, we kind of brought it all into one. So the kids and I decided that we were going to make a book series based on real life adventures, but not just real life adventures. We wanted it to be something that we could make a positive impact with. So with that, we came up with a motto and a mission, which is for any negative action, plant a positive reaction. Because life throws curveballs at you, especially now more than ever. Life is very challenging for the generation that is growing up in the world that we have right now. Life isn't what it used to be like. And sometimes there's situations that come to us that we can't control. Sometimes they may be mistakes that we've made that we want to correct. Sometimes it might be something that we find ourselves in that we don't even understand how it happened. Or it could be something just happening in the world or the country you live in, or maybe your home environment, or maybe just anything happening in life. We all have different challenges and we all have different situations. So, with that, the kids and I wanted to do something that we could bring people along with the journey, but also teach them that they can turn any mess, anything that's negative, and turn it around into something positive. So, for example, like our first book, you can make a big mess in the car. You can have your food hiding in places and toys hiding in places, and mom might not find it for 6 months later. But we work together and we clean up the car and we learn about teamwork and responsibility, then that just makes the world go round. It just makes the world a beautiful place if we can all be responsible. And even if it's not your mess, maybe help someone clean up a mess or maybe help someone in life. So with that, the children love to help others and they love to, my home is in a revolving door, and all the children come in and out, everyone does. And so with that, we started to make this our life mission in everyday life. So you may have a situation at home that you just need a little help with, and we want them to know that this story is about you. This book is for you, for all the children in the world. The messes, the laughter, the joy, the chaos, that's for you. That's what life is. And it's a beautiful thing. And we can always make it whatever we'd like to make it. So, with that, in the book series that's going to come, like this little car is in a mess, but he's on his way to something else. And then he's on his way to something else. And let's see where the story unfolds. And where does it end up? Where do we end up in life, right? And that ties into our YouTube show. So the kids have their real life adventures on the show that you can learn things from, educational wise, maybe a science project, or maybe just a life situation. And then we have the book animated in there also, so the kids can be a part of that with us and learning about the characters. And then we have a whole nother mission, which is Seeds of Change. And I took my old Beyond the Sport with Lydia Feliciano, where I told those behind the scenes stories. And we made that for everyone. We don't want it just for student athletes who, are into sports. We want it to be for everyone. You could be a mom, you could be a grandma, you could be an author, you could be a pilot, you can be a community worker, you could be a doctor, you could be anyone. And if you are planting those seeds of change, taking negative actions into positive actions, or maybe something that's thrown your way, and you turn it around, or not even something that's thrown your way, let's just say you made it your mission in life to stand up for something that is more than us, that is bigger than us. We want to highlight you. We want to highlight the positive things that you are doing in this world, because the world is filled with lots of negative things, and we can always focus on the negative if you want to, but we can turn that around into something positive. So with that, we've entangled it into one whole mission. Excuse my dogs. We want it to be a book that children can join us on these missions and these life adventures, and we want it to be a show. And then we also want to highlight individuals around the world planting positive seeds of kindness. And for any negative action, plant a positive reaction. So we've tied it all into one. The kids and I have worked on this for a while, putting together the storyline and different elements of the book that we wanted to show. And then we just started. So it's still kind of working. It's still going in pieces. But it's a journey and we're very excited about it and we are loving it, and we're loving the people that we're meeting, like Aaron and Genesee and all these amazing people. And along with that, it's connected us to a bigger purpose in life. And that's what this whole mission is about, is to connect everyone to a bigger purpose in life and to have your life, into a positive reaction, whatever it may be.
What
I
an
talk a
amazing
lot, so I'm
story.
sorry.
What that's absolutely brilliant and amazing. Now tell me, how long did it take you to get the YouTube channel going?
So it's not even really done yet. We've been filming for a while, and I
Mhm.
still actually have a lot more to edit. But we're putting them up slowly. So we've been working on it for Many years. We have a lot of content that we're slowly starting to put up. But we launched with Seeds of Change right away because we wanted to start highlighting these stories, especially now in the world. I think people need those stories now more than ever.
Right.
So everything else is coming together slowly, but we went full force on finding people around the world making differences in any part of the world. And eventually, we'd like it to be a worldwide thing where we can go to every single place and show every single person in the world doing something positive. And that mission is to inspire us all to realize how unique we are in this world and how special our life is in this world, and that we should all work together as one so that
Well,
we
your
can.
background in media was perfect for this. Absolutely perfect for this.
I've always loved my industry, and I've always loved the people I've met along the way, and the things I've created, and I just enjoy doing it. And it's so funny because I said I could do this for the rest of my life and just die happy, you know, with my children. It's something that we love to do. Everyone's like, "Oh, you put a lot of work into that." I'm like, we love it. We love it. And yes, it's something that's always pulled me in. I think God has made it a mission for me to help others. I love to help others, and so do my kids. So we want to use what we've been given and help other people with what we love to do.
Well, when you think about it, when you turn on the news, it usually starts with bad news. So what you're doing is huge and it's important and it's crucial, especially like you said in this day and age where kids are growing up in such a different world than we grew up in. And it's important to get that positivity out in the world and have people share their experiences because we all need that. We need it big time these days.
Yes, it's so funny because you walk along the street or whatever you may do. I grew up in Chicago, and then from Chicago I went to Florida, and I use the train and the bus a lot, right? And I used to bike everywhere before I drove. So before that, it's interesting because I've met so many people just in life.
Mhm.
And I always say, you never know what someone's going through. And just a smile or being kind to them could really go a long way. And that's what it's about. And what I try to teach my children is that you may be having a hard day, but maybe somebody else is going through something. And if we take that time to recognize that in other people and help them, then we make the world a much more beautiful place. And especially now, like you said, the news is just negative, different things the kids are seeing, and they're not understanding that. And that's okay. You take the time to explain it, but you need to focus on the positive things. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're always sunshine and rainbows." But why not? There's so much rain
Yes.
and clouds and storms. If, I truly believe in that. If we all really focused on that positive, we could really grow something beautiful together.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I wanted to ask you too, what was the process for you trying to get the book published and then grow from there and to get the illustrations done and all of that that went into publishing the book?
So after working in the media, I actually ended up working in a marketing. I run a business with my partner. And with that, we have learned we do everything from signage and different things like that. And we don't publish. So that was a different thing for me to learn. So I looked into independent publishing. I looked into different avenues to do that. But I realized that I could do it all on my own from my backgrounds and just my knowledge. And I can learn along the way. You can always learn anything along the way. I always feel that you're never too old to learn. You don't stop learning until until
Mhm.
you're done. But so I researched everything on my own, and then I had other friends that have published books. Growing up, I had a friend whose parents they owned a publishing company and they wrote books as well. So when I was in kindergarten, I used to always write children's books, and I used to always give it to them in hopes that they would publish my book, which never happened. But now moving forward, that's when my business partner told me, she's like, you can do it all on your own and you can go and do it through Amazon.
Mhm.
And so I went that route. We created it all on our own through our software programs and different elements Well, we wrote everything out, and then we took different elements of what we wanted to put together with the illustrations, and then okay, hold on. And then we combined it all together into one. Since I already have all the software and everything put together and designs that we've created over the years.
Mhm.
So, and then we put that all together. So I let the kids choose where they wanted, what they wanted, how we wanted to put it together. Then mom stayed up very long, late hours to perfect everything. And then after that, it took me a little bit. We still don't have the hardcover out. It's now just an ebook and paperback. I'm going to reformat it now for hardcover. And so it's been a process. We're still going, but I realized that I could just do it on my own, and I have all the work anyway and the elements. And so we just combined all of our forces together, the kids and I, over
Mhm.
the year. And we changed it when Crew was born. So it was two Georgia Peaches. And then when Crew was born, I wanted to include him. So we made it three peas in a pod. So we have the two girls and my son. And and it was just something that we worked on together, just from my company and the different things that I have access to, and just my knowledge and putting it together on my own. And then I will learn the rest along the way. And I have wonderful help and people that I've met and people I know. And so with that knowledge and just that team, you can create it on your own.
So, what
Um,
are the ages of your kids now?
my oldest is going to be 8. My middle just turned 6, and my youngest is 2.
That's amazing. And just to have your kids interviewing other people, that's huge for them too, because that's giving them social skills and being able to build that social, just being able to build that base to be able to
Yes.
communicate with people in public.
Oh, found it.
They,
Sit.
they can
Found
use
it.
that lesson for their entire lives, which is hugely important.
Yes. So my children, it's interesting because my oldest actually asked me to do this. This was not something I ever thought we would really get into. Especially working in the media. I think that my oldest has done a commercial and they've done a few things in the media, but I didn't really want them. Not that I didn't want them to. That's not what I mean. I meant that I want them to choose their own path. I want them
Right.
to do whatever they want to do. I never, just because mom did this doesn't mean that you need to do it kind of a situation. But my
Mhm.
oldest said to me, Mom, I want to write this book. And I know we've been talking about it, but I also want to have a YouTube channel with it. And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said, oh, okay, okay. And she goes, can you show me those videos that you used to do? And can you show me how you did? And I go, yes, okay. So then I sat with her and I walked through it. And then my middle one has such a strong personality. And so she just went full throttle in it with this strength behind it and goes, let's do it. Let's do it. And we're going to call this. And you're going to, Mom, film me, film me, film me. And I said, oh, okay. But I want it to be, this is, you tell me what you like and we can do that, and I'll make it happen kind of a thing. And we'll work on it together. But I want you to make sure you want to do this. So she wanted to do it. And I said, go. I was very impressed. And I was also very proud. And I think they're very proud as well because they are just so excited to meet all these people and hear their stories. And they go out and they're telling everyone about their stories. And they're like, oh, and Miss Erin, she's a hero and she flies planes and she rescues dogs and she does this. And she's telling even at the library, we go to the library and she's telling everyone. And I said, that passion, you can't I can't even explain it. You can't teach that. That's something that you have to want and you have to have. And if that's what you'd love to do, that's awesome. And I will help you along the way. And I'm very proud of them for doing that. And I'm so happy that they're excited to do it and that they're learning and the things that they're learning from all of these incredible people. And that's what I love. And that's what I want to show to other children as well. And I said to my kids, I said, you know what? This might turn into a teaching degree in a school because I've always loved doing that. And I used to teach when I was in journalism at the Florida Scholar Press Association, and I used to
Mhm.
do classes with the kids and everything. And so it's growing into something bigger, which I'm very happy about. And we meet all these other homeschool families, and they're like, "You want to go on a journey? Let's go on an adventure." And I said, "Yeah, okay, let's go on an adventure." And we're just going on these, and that's what I want. I want that in real life. I want us all to have these adventures and to want to be a part of things. So now they have their friends who want to hop on and interview and be a part of it. And I said, that's what I want it to be. I want it to be a community thing. I want all these children who are interested in something to learn and have an outlet, to be able to express themselves, to be able to share their stories, to be able to interview if they want to. I have amazing parents that gave me that opportunity at a young age to realize, okay, you want to do this and you want let's work on that. And I was able to um, be involved. Like in high school, I went to a performing arts boarding school, and then I went to a school that specialized in radio and television. And to have my hands on that at a young age was amazing. And that really helped me to understand what I wanted to do with my life. And
Hmm.
if kids can have that ability to learn hands-on and to get involved in the things that they want to do, then you're just giving them that pathway at an early age. And that's what I love. So our community is starting to grow where other kids want to be involved, and that's what I want. And maybe one day you'll see another child interview someone on Seeds of Change. And that's what I love. That's the whole goal, is to help these children find their voices
Right.
and let them know that they're not alone. I've met so many kids, especially in my career, because I had to cover children, especially when I worked for South Florida High School Sports. Sit, honey, sit. We had to cover children in Miami-Dade to Broward to Palm Beach.
Hmm.
And I covered children from private schools to public schools to all different types, technical schools, whatever it may be. And some of these children felt really alone, and they didn't have anyone to talk with or to express themselves, or they had something horrible happen and they just needed an outlet. They just needed someone to believe in them and to help them and to guide them. And sorry,
It's
but
okay.
that's what kids need, especially now. And I'm happy it's with my own, but I also wanted to be with all of the kids. And even in college, I met some kids that were lonely and they didn't have anyone to help them, and they just needed a friend. And that's what kids need, a friend. Even if they don't have the ability to have a parent or maybe another adult or a teacher, they need to find someone to help them. And I used to work with kids in the Boys and Girls Club, and that's what they needed. They needed someone to help them and to help them show them the way or to guide them or just someone to talk to because they had a situation they needed help with. And so that's what it's about. So my children are interviewing, and I love it, and they're learning and they're growing, but I want other kids to see that they can do that too. It's like I find these shows that I love, and it's very rare to find them, but there's one on Apple TV and it's called Jane, and it's focused on Jane Goodall, right?
Right.
And it's about this young girl, and all she wants to do in this show is save the animals and help the animals. And she's influenced by Jane, and she lives in this apartment complex with her mother. And she has a neighbor boy that she loves, and they go on these little adventures of saving the animals that are extinct. And they teach the children about these animals that are extinct. And they teach the children in this amazing show that you're learning about these kids' lives. And it's very hands-on and interactive. But at the end of the show, they find someone, like let's say they had a Siberian tiger one day, and they're finding the Siberian tiger around this apartment complex. But at the end of it, they interview someone who's making a difference in
Wow.
with Siberian tigers, and they go on these little iPads and they talk to them. And let's say it's somebody in China who's saving the pandas, and they start to find out the mission that these people are on to save these endangered animals. And it's movies like that and it's shows like that that kids really are still learning what scientists and incredible people in history have tried to teach us, like Jane Goodall, that we need to save the animals and we need to save our planet. And that's what Seeds of Change is about also, because I love the planet and I love trees. And the kids love trees now just for me. And we try to clean up any mess we see with pollution. We actually went to a library event tonight, and it was about building a river with our Cherokee County, the water system, and we got to build a river, and we learned about all the things that were important in the river, and then what we as humans do to the river, and how we can prevent that, and how we can help that. And again, a negative action that we can turn into a positive action. And my children didn't even want to pollute the fake river. They go, no, 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 we can't put this in here. No, we're gonna clean it up at the end. Mom, no, the animal. They're looking at the kids putting the pollution by these little fake animals, and they're telling them, no. And the librarians are laughing because my children are trying to pull the pollution out of this fake river.
Wow.
But that's what we're trying to do, you know?
Yeah.
That was what she was trying to say at the end, is that our little impact that we have from the grease in our sink or the toilets or just, not even the cans, or the plastic, our balloons, different things like that. And then it goes to Lake Alatuna. And then from Lake Alatuna, it goes out to the Gulf of Mexico. But we can stop it here before it gets there and before we harm it to get there. And so that's also, tied into her mission. She goes, you guys can do this too. You can go around your neighborhood and clean up trash. My girl's like, yeah, we do. I said, yes, and we love to. But I tell them to wear gloves before we do, you know. But it's those little things that I feel that's what the mission is about. That's what the book is about. Saving our planet, saving each other, and working together as one so that we can all coexist and have a peaceful, harmonious life on this earth. If there's one thing that when I pass on that I want to leave my kids with, it's actually something I have up on our page right now, but this indigenous Erica Gagnon said this amazing thing on Wisdom Keepers, and she said a very wonderful thing, and it's about our responsibility on this planet and our responsibility to each other. And I'm not going to repeat her words because she's amazing the way she said it, and I could never even do her justice. But that's what this whole thing is about. It's not just being kind to each other, it's being kind to our planet that we are from. We are all a part of Earth. We are all nature. And we
Right.
have to respect each other and respect our planet and work in a harmonious way. And so that's what it's all about. So it starts at home, but it goes into the community and it goes into the world. And it can start with just one person helping you. One child just needs someone, or even one person needs to just hear a message or just have some help, or to know that they're not alone and to know that everything is fixable, everything. And we can always take something, even something that may feel like, oh, it's the end of the world. It is in that moment. It is, and that's okay. But we can fix it, and we can fix it together, whether it's at home with your family, in your community, in your school, or in the world. You are not alone, and we are all here to support you and build a beautiful world together. So if there's one thing I can leave my children with or the next generation, and I can die happy, is knowing that they will try to help, love, and create peace instead of destruction. We have so much destruction, but we can still rebuild, and it's never too late to rebuild.
Awesome words. That's just terrific. That's amazing. From meeting people like Erin Murphy, who I've been lucky enough to have on my podcast a couple of times. She's just a fantastic human being.
If we need more Aaron Murphys in the world, I told her that. I said we need
Yes,
more Aaron Murphys in the
yes,
world.
yeah, she's amazing.
Yes.
From interviewing her and meeting people like you, that's what makes this show what it is and such fun to do. So I
Right.
appreciate you coming on the show today,
Oh,
doing it because
she said you,
it's
she,
just incredible what you're doing. All of that hard work and positivity and you being an awesome role model for your kids and showing them how to be good little human beings so one day they grow up and they make a difference in the world. And they're already making a difference in the world now. And that's just so incredible. So kudos to you. And that must make your family so tight knit and even more bonded, even more than would normally happen, I would
I,
think.
I told him you're stuck with me forever.
That's awesome.
You better have a room for mom when she gets old. And I'll be right there by you in college too. No, I'm kidding.
Well, tell me, so your people can find your YouTube channel.
Yes,
What's the YouTube channel again? They can find your book on Amazon. And you said it's a series of books. So how many books do you have on Amazon right now?
it's just the one yet. We're still
Just the
working on the
one.
second. We have a coloring book coming out, and then we're working on the third. So I'm hoping by the end of the year or in the summer, We'll have everything done. We have our first vendor event coming up, so mom feels a little pressured now. I'm getting everything done, but yes, should be done soon. Mom and everybody, we're gonna have it done soon. But right now it's a process. So we have our Three Peas in a Pod. It's a YouTube channel, just Three Peas in a Pod. And then the book is Three Peas in a Pod on Amazon. And it's on Instagram, it's actually Three Peas in a Pod info. And on Facebook, it's Three Peas in a Pod. And the reason why I say info is because, again, this is an educational experience and we want children to be able to learn and go along with us. So it's information.
Hmm.
So even the website is threepeasinapod.info because eventually I want to be able to have all the parents and the kids log on the website, download activities, download whatever they like, and to be a part of it. So I want to have a lot of access to people who are homeschooling or people who are not homeschooling, anyone who wants to have hands-on activities or educational materials. And so it is threepeasinapod.info, and you might find some handles with the info name, but it is just Three Peas in a Pod. And I wanted to tell you, Erin said you are incredibly kind. And
Oh,
she is so right. And I was even looking at some of your videos and I was listening to you, and I said, I have a very, I have a thing where I can tell when someone's like a very wonderful person. And just by looking at you're so kind and you're so sweet. And I want to tell you that you are also an amazing person. And Erin said that she goes, he's so kind. And I said, I
oh,
know
thank
as
you
you
so
do.
very much. That
Speaking of
means
people, I
so
know he's
much.
kind. And you are very kind. So it's people like you also that we are
Thank
lucky.
you.
We
Well,
are
like I
lucky.
said, doing this podcast has been such an amazing thing for me. And I've been working with kids for years and years, and I've always wanted to be a positive role model for them. And so doing that, working with kids, doing the podcast and meeting people like you and Aaron and all the other guests that I've had the opportunity to meet and interview on this podcast, it's just been amazing. So thank you so very much. That means a lot to me to hear that because that makes it so worthwhile for me to keep doing this because I love doing this. This is just so fun to meet so many interesting and intelligent people in the world and people trying to make a difference. And that's so important these days. So thank you so very much for that.
No, Phil, thank you. And you need to keep doing what you're doing because let me tell you, you're making a difference. You really are. You really are, Phil. And when you
Thank
enjoy
you.
something and your heart feels like it's the right thing to do, you're in the right place. You never know where it can lead you. And you keep going forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Lydia, it has been my privilege and honor to have you on the podcast today. And keep doing what you're doing too. It's amazing. Like I said, you're this hugely positive role model for your kids and for other kids and adults in the world. And keep it up. Don't ever stop. And you're making a difference too, Lydia. So thank you so very much for doing the podcast today. It
Oh,
is a
thank
blessing and an honor to
you.
have you on.
Oh, Phil, no, the honor is all mine. It is all mine. Thank you so, so much. We only hope that we can make a difference, and that's all we can hope for, right?
I agree. Thank you
Yes.
so very much, Lydia. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, Phil. And I hope to speak with you soon.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you. You're such an amazing person. So thank you very, very much.
Likewise. Have a
All right.
wonderful evening.
Thank you. So
Thank
with
you.
that, everybody, that is the end of this episode of the Total Podcast with me, your host, Phil Scott. Everyone stay safe, be careful out there, take care of one another, and we will talk again soon.